Handoff, Adrian up the middle, room to the 20, cuts to the left to the 25, and Adrian's loose! He splits the defense! 50, 40, 30, goodbye, baby! Touchdown!
We bleed purple, and our bones are gold. Hear the horns coming out of our dome, behold. We are Minnesota Vikings fans. We love when a player scores, we roar, ignite the stands.
Hey there, Vikings fans. You are listening to the Purple People Podcast. You can't teach that, right, Adam?
That's true. You
And
cannot.
it's very true. I got Adam Carlson with me.
I'm right here.
I got Kyle Smith.
Hey.
I am Kyle West. And
That's him.
yes.
And this is episode number 144 of the Purple People Podcast. 144, man. Those numbers are getting up there. When you think about that one a week, we've been doing this way too long.
Or not long enough, because...
But this one is titled Reservoir Dogra.
Ah,
Everybody knows about Mr. Dogra by now.
unfortunately, I would rather not know that guy's name, but we...
But we'll be talking about him in a
He's an
little bit,
asshole.
I'm sure. Let's move on to the quick hits.
Mm-hmm.
The Minnesota Vikings have signed former Green Bay Packers running back DeJuan Harris. He's a former Packer. What do you guys think about that?
I am all for collecting talent. Training camp time. You gotta have the young guys on the squad like him. So, hey, glad to see him get a shot with the team. Gonna be very tough to make it, with or without 28 on the squad. But you never know. You never know.
He brings
Bring
a lot
in
of
the
insight into that
competition.
Green Bay locker room, too.
Mm-hmm.
Bring in the competition. I remember a lot of his, tape because Green Bay is obviously my favorite game to watch the Vikings play against. But I don't know. It's like Mr. West said. It's gonna be tough to make the roster. But I'm all about bringing in some talent.
Absolutely. If he can beat out some young guy to get in there, I'd say have at her. It's been reported that the Minnesota Vikings have lukewarm interest in free agent linebacker Brandon Spikes, formerly of the New England Patriots. Lukewarm interest means he probably won't get signed, but at least they're kicking the tires a little bit.
I didn't know that we started attributing levels of interest towards him.
It's lukewarm. It's not hot. It's not
Lukewarm.
warm.
You can totally tell this is the time between the Super Bowl and the draft.
I don't
Lukewarm interest.
I don't understand how you have lukewarm. I am marginally interested in linebacker Brandon Spikes, so
Sure.
I'm only going to watch half of his game film. Is that what they're doing? I don't know.
Let's
man.
rewind the clocks a year. This is when we found out Teddy Bridgewater has really bad knees.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got tiny knees. And he's got to wear a glove to play quarterback. Can you believe that?
What?
He's
That
going to
is
fumble all the time.
That's atrocious. He's never gonna. I'm Skip Bayless. He's never gonna be good. Oh.
He's not even a first-round prospect.
Yeah. Kurt
Side
Warner.
note: This is totally a sidewinder. I watched Family Guy and they integrated The Simpsons into him last night. I just want to tell you that since I said Skip Bayless, why don't you eat my shorts now? You can just eat that.
Well, they say things on there just to get people all riled up, and as Vikings fans, we don't need that. We got social media. We got Darren Sharper getting 9 years in prison.
Don't
for
do
rape.
it. Don't do it. I was hoping to get through a whole show without mentioning Darren Sharper or Adam. Why
We
did
got
you do
Adrian
that?
Peterson drama. We got
Don't do it, man.
Vikings just heading over to Buffalo like it's lemmings flying off a cliff.
Have fun with Rex Ryan though. That's the joke on them. Oh.
So it's not like Vikings fans need that kind of drama.
Mm.
On a positive note, though, the final pan and joist concrete slab has been poured for the new Minnesota Vikings stadium. It's becoming closer and closer to being a reality, and I still haven't gotten to see a Vikings game at the University of Minnesota Stadium, and I really hope to make that Kansas City Chiefs game next year. So if you guys are already planning on games next year and you guys want to meet up in the lot, hang out for a bit, I will probably be at that Kansas City Chiefs game.
I know it's a little early to give out our awards that we usually do at the end of the season, but I'm going to go ahead and give you an award right now, Adam, for somehow being able to work the phrase pan and joist concrete slab into a quick hit.
That's right.
Oh.
Hey, It's weird how being a Vikings fan can make me learn so many things.
Oh, I remember when
When
we
I
all
was
got
the
to
stadium
open.
was getting voted on, I was getting so interested in Minnesota's Congress,
Yeah,
the voting and all these bills and all this stuff, and I was actually learning quite a bit. Now I'm learning about concrete
that was
and
exactly
stadium
where
construction and bird safe glass and all this stuff.
that was exactly where I was going with that too. Is that we got to all open our Minnesota legislative law books for a lot longer than we should have. Remember when me and you were staying up like late at night and we were watching the live stream
I
of
was.
of the Minnesota Congress? I remember we were doing that because we were
We
chatting.
were like live tweeting.
Yeah, we were chatting back and forth with one another over Facebook, over the stupid law people.
We were like, what the hell does that mean? I'm like, hold on, I'll look.
It's like, at what point did being a Vikings fan mean any of this? But wow, we
You know the best
It's like I
part
said
was
on Twitter today, it'd be so cool to just talk about football.
yeah, kind of boring actually. We
you know the best part is I went to Minnesota for the first time last January, and I remember being in the Mall of America, Viking shirt, of course. And then you'd be surprised how many Green Bay Packer fans just swarm that place. And I just laughed because I was talking to my wife about it. and then you hear, oh, the Vikings suck. And I'm like, do you live here? Yeah. Thanks for paying for the new stadium, douche.
yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
Oh, that's good stuff.
And not a lot happened this week, so we only have one more quick hit. This one involves the inaugural NFL Veteran Combine, where some of the players that have been out of the NFL for a little bit have a chance to show that they might have the skills to come back into the NFL and play at a reasonable level. Minnesota Vikings general manager Rick Spielman was in attendance for that, and there was a photo snapped of him watching the offensive line work. So who knows? Maybe he found something he liked, maybe he didn't. But I still like the idea of the NFL Veteran Combine. And I think it's great any chance that people have to live their dreams, work hard, and try to achieve them.
I love the idea for the Veteran Combine as well, too. First year for it, I think the NFL will find definitely things to improve upon, whatnot, from this year. But the idea was Matt Burke. He was the one who spearheaded the whole thing. And it's really cool to give these guys a second shot, because a lot of them were players that were cut early in camp for whatever reason. And hey, they're getting a chance to go out there and to to prove themselves. And it's a way to get them done all at once in front of all the scouts. Because a lot of these guys, maybe individual workouts, they couldn't get an individual workout with all the teams. So
Right.
I like it. I look forward to seeing what improvements that they implement next year for it. And I think it's a great program.
It's amazing on Twitter how many people were knocking the Veteran Combine. I mean, it's not like these guys are that old that they can't improve on their route running, their pass catching, their technique, their strength, their agility, their speed. These are guys that are still young. I mean, none of them were really like 45 years old just trying to get a tryout. These are guys that are still NFL capable players
Yeah, you had
that
a
are
few.
trying to get a look.
You had a few younger ones. You have Brady Quinn, who's 30. But, I mean, and Michael Bush, I don't remember how old Michael Bush was offhand. So you had a few guys, but, I mean, that's fine. Like, that's kind of the point, too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let's go into the social media question. We posted this one a couple days ago in hopes to get some responses, and boy, did we get some responses.
I'm reading them right now, and they're awesome.
We asked the fans on the Facebook and Twitter page, do the Minnesota Vikings need running back Adrian Peterson to have a winning record during the 2015 NFL season? We got an overwhelming number of responses. Quite a few of them seem to think that the Vikings do not need Adrian Peterson to get to that point, but many others say that they do need Adrian Peterson to make the playoffs. Now, that's a very fine line between a winning record and making the playoffs because of the competition in the NFC North. So I'm not sure that line is as thick as a lot of people think it is, because you almost have to win your division or come into second place in the division to have a winning record. That's just the way the NFC North is. It's that tough.
Mm-hmm.
So Darren Roach said, "We proved last season that we can win games without him," meaning Adrian Peterson. "It wasn't wins over real good teams, but last season was a rebirth of a new Vikings team, a brand new era." And I think Darren Roach is absolutely right there. The focus of this team has shifted to winning with defense and having a solid offense. And I think this team's making great steps in the right direction to win games that way rather than trying to just fire points on the board like other teams are, just loading up on offense. So thank you for your response, Darren Roach. Did you have any that you really liked, Mr. Smith?
I'm so glad you picked me. I want to just give me 2 minutes on something here, and then I'm going to go into what Joe Adams said. You guys remember the year after the playoffs with Castle and Ponder and the one Josh Freeman game? We just lost a lot of games there by 1 point, 2 points, and it was always in the last 2 minutes. We got to think about that. We had a lot of close games last year. A lot of people. One of my favorite games last year that we lost, the Packers. We were at home, and we only lost by 3 points. The Packers were blowing out teams at one point last year, and we stayed competitive. We lost a lot of really close games, but the difference is we had a solid defense, and we had a young rookie quarterback without our star running back, our star player, and we still managed to be competitive. We had AP that year before when we went 5-10-1, and we were just giving games away. The last couple minutes, we ran out of gas, and we don't have to worry about that anymore. Mike Zimmer's not going to let and allow people to be on this team and be starters if they're not going to come out and compete every second of every play. And I'm going to go and segue into Joe Adams. I like half of your comment, and I'm going to battle the other half because that's what we do on the show. We thank you for giving your opinion because we're going to use it now. Joe says we could go deep into the playoffs with AP in the backfield with a confident quarterback like Bridgewater plus AP. He says equals an NFC championship game. Bold. I like that. I could see that happening. Although I don't agree with the second part, which I'll read now. All we're doing is ruining Bridgewater because people will know we have no running game, and they will prey on Bridgewater and ruin him like Ponder. I'm going to go backwards on your last part. Bridgewater and Ponder are two completely different quarterbacks. Christian didn't really throw the ball deep a lot. He does have some good deep throws in his highlights, but not nearly as much. I think over Christian's career in Minnesota, Teddy accomplished that in one season with deep balls. And Teddy, when he rolls out, he doesn't roll out because he missed his first read, maybe his second. He rolls out because he sees a lane and he takes it. And I'm sorry, I don't think we're ruining Bridgewater. I don't think we don't have a running game either. Matt Asiata was tied for third with most rushing touchdowns last year in the NFL. He was behind Marshawn Lynch, and I forget who number 2 was, but he was third in the NFL. Secondly, our rookie running back that didn't even play the whole year, wasn't even our first string after AP went down, had 4.8 yards a carry. We have a running game. Now,
the Vikings were down to their 4th string running back at points.
Mm-hmm.
They had their 5th string running back active on some game days.
We had a running game. It's not the running game you're used to seeing. Obviously, it's not as dominant as AP rushing for over 2,000 yards one year, but just because you get to the end of the race, it doesn't matter, we didn't go the same route we always got. We had a running game established. It just wasn't as pretty. And to be quite honest, and I'm off my soapbox on that, to be quite honest, for us to almost have a 500 record last year, I mean, that's a win in itself, considering all the stuff that we had to adjust to. I don't like to use the term adversity because it's just overplayed nowadays in sports, but just the adjustments we had to make last year proves. So I like your response, Joe. I do think with AP, if he was solid, like the 2,097-yard season with Teddy, we could make an NFC championship game, absolutely. But I don't think we're ruining Bridgewater by any means, and I would have to disagree with you. I think we have a good running game. It's just not what necessarily we've been used to for the last 7 years.
All right, I'm going to hop up on that soapbox for a second now. I don't think that you can ruin Teddy Bridgewater with something like that. I think he's too mentally tough, too confident, too determined, and he's actually, I'll just say, too good to let frustrations like that get to him. He's calm, he's poised, not like Ponder, who was very panicked if that first read wasn't there and didn't know what to do. Bridgewater, to me, I don't think you can ruin him. I think that you can help him out by getting him more weapons, and I think that's exactly what Joe Adams wants to happen, is to help Bridgewater succeed. I don't think he means ruin him, like send him down into a David Carr territory. I don't think that's what he means. What I think he means is that Minnesota needs to get him the proper weapons so that he can help have a very refined offense. Because I don't think, no matter what happens, losses on the offensive line, losses at running back, struggles at wide receiver, we saw all that last year. And yet we saw a poised Bridgewater.
There's a reason he's trademarked the term great under major pressure.
So that's how I feel about that. Did you have any great responses over on Twitter, Mr. West?
Well, the beauty of Twitter is that I get people, because of the character limit, really straight and really to the point. And so I found one that is just my absolute favorite thing in the entire world. And it came from @AustinVikes, who just simple, LOL, absolutely not. I'm like, that is fantastic. Like that, yeah, I agree with Austin.
That tweet took 0.3 seconds. Thank you, Austin.
Yeah. Yep.
Straight to the point. And I agree with him. I think that this Minnesota Vikings team can have a winning record for the 2015 season with or without Adrian Peterson. And I think that is one of the things that Mr. Smith was talking about earlier for his bold statement.
Yep, I'm going to go there. Trust me, when the AP situation is done and there's a decision made as to whether or not he is or is not going to be a Viking this year, we'll get into our passion, our hatred for the outcome, or our love. But right now, the simple fact is, and I'm going to go back to what I said on a different angle. My bold statement of the week, call me lazy, but I'm going to talk about the AP thing because we don't have a lot to talk about. The Vikings will have a winning season without Adrian Peterson. I do not think he's going to play for us this year. That's not to say that I don't want him to. It's not to say that I don't think he's a fantastic running back. That's to be talked about on a later show, and we will. But I'm going to go back to last year. We lost by 3 points at home to Green Bay, playoff team, NFC championship team. We gave away the game in Miami. We gave away the game in Buffalo. Turn those 3 games around. We're 10-6. There were other games where we lost by less than a touchdown. AP wasn't in that game. We had a rookie quarterback. Rookie quarterback Teddy Bridgewater is not a rookie anymore. And if you've followed him on Instagram or anything else, he's definitely been putting in the work already, working out with teammates, having a good time, keeping the camaraderie up, doing what he's supposed to do. He's being a pro, and I love it. But back to my statement. Take what we had last year and just take it for what it is. The Vikings will have a winning season this year, and I'll take 8-8 as a winning season because technically it's not losing, whatever. But we'll get into that later when I make predictions. I don't think AP is going to be here, but that doesn't mean we're not going to win. Mike Zimmer's not going to allow that to happen.
All right, I wanted to talk a little bit about something here because today something happened with the Adrian Peterson situation that really kind of made me a little sick to my stomach. Adrian Peterson's agent said, and I quote, "We want out of Minnesota," to USA Today Sports. Then later on, Adrian Peterson's agent said in a tweet from ESPN's Kevin Seifer, "I don't think it's in Adrian's best interest to play in Minnesota. Why would it be?" I was kind of hesitating on wanting to talk about this during the conversation or not, but I'm going to go for it. Adrian Peterson, this behavior is very cowardly. You're hiding behind your agent and your family, your father, your uncle, to do the dirty work, to try to look bad, to try to save your face. If you want out of Minnesota, make a statement. You weren't afraid to make a statement when you were standing in front of outside the courtroom in Minnesota to say, "I want to stay in Minnesota." Mm-hmm. You weren't afraid then. Why are you afraid to make a statement now? Just come out and say it. You have fans supporting you that want to hear what you have to say. They don't want to hear your agent. They don't want to hear your father. They don't want to hear your uncle. They want to hear it from you. So be a man, say what you want to say, and get it done so that people can finally move on and not dick around with your future.
You guys have heard this plenty of times. If you've listened to any of the podcasts since I've joined the show, my favorite player ever is Brett Favre. And I'm telling you straight up, I hate to say this because I thought Adrian was way different. I thought he was better at his position, even without a ring and a championship appearance like Favre was. But this is really Brett Favre-like of AP, and it really pisses me off. And like I said earlier, I mean no disrespect to Adrian. I love him as a running back, but Mr. Carlson, you hit a nail on the head. And I told Mr. West this before we started recording. 80% of teams in the NFL would have cut him dry and not even think about paying him. We gave you the opportunity to sit on your rear end, stay in shape, and get paid however many, $11 million last year, I think it was. And for what? For you to act like a child. And the cowardly is the best way I would put it. You know, we're just talking about AP the person. We already know what he does on the football field. But I could not agree with you more. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm going to play the victim card. And if you want me to be bold and blunt about it, nobody did that to your son but you. Take action. Say you're sorry. At least fake like you mean it. Go out in the community. Do something with kids. Take an anger management course. No. The only thing you've been focused about is yourself. And this isn't an individual sport. This is about teams. It's about building. People will rally around you. Even with all the messed up crap that's happened, people still rallied around you, and you choose to act this way. So, I don't know. I agree with you. I'm one of those people that, you know, I don't mean to sound rude. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. And as my buddy and Adam's buddy said, Mr. Dorian Foley, I believe it was, he said, I've liked the Vikings before AP. I'll like them even when he's gone. I love you to death, Adrian, but, you know, I hate to say it. You need us. We don't need you. We will move on. We will still play football, and we'll still win games even if you're not there.
I appreciate what Adrian Peterson has done for the Minnesota Vikings on the football field.
Absolutely.
He's been an absolute monster. He's helped the Vikings to win many, many games, set some NFL records, and just overall helped the franchise win. But now I don't understand why he's not willing to be who he is. Why does all these statements have to come through an agent or a father or a grandfather or uncle or sister or cousin or step-niece or whatever the hell it's going to be? People want to hear it from Adrian. Your fans deserve better. If you're done in Minnesota, let us all know. Say, hey, I'm not going to play for Minnesota anymore. The fans can prepare to move on. You still have quite a few fans out there, Adrian Peterson. Fans that support you and love you and want you to return to the Vikings and want you to help this team win. Although I'm ready to move on, not a lot of fans are. And they need to hear it from you, not your agent.
What about you, Mr. West?
Oh, I've already moved on. I'm so over this Adrian stuff. Like, I don't even... Hey, he had a birthday party and he rode a camel around. Did you all see that photo? Like, he sure is having a ball of a time through all of this.
Sure.
Adam, your rant was just so spot on. It really was. I don't even really know what I could add to that. But he needs to come out and he needs to say what he wants to do. Now, if that means if he doesn't want to play in Minnesota, grow a pair, man up, piss off the Minnesota fan base, all of us at once, and say, I don't want to play in Minnesota. I don't want to be here. I don't like y'all anymore. I would respect him more. It's the fact that we're going through this.
I don't know if I feel comfortable playing for the Vikings.
Like, really? Really? You don't feel comfortable?
You know what this really reminds me of? This reminds me of and it could be a male or a female. This reminds me of a kid or a man getting cheated on by a woman, and then her coming back around and her playing the, well, I don't know. You did this. Just own up to it.
I think it boils down to Adrian has probably never had to own up for anything in his entire life. He probably never really has, because he's always been Adrian Peterson. And he's been phenomenally good at football all throughout high school, throughout college, throughout the NFL. And he's had other people deal with all his problems. And he's not dealing with this one. He's letting everyone else deal with it. And this is probably the worst decision that he could have done, is to just let everyone else deal with it. But whatever. I don't really care. I'm a Vikings fan.
I think a lot of people have
Yeah.
lost a lot of respect for him because
Yeah.
of this.
I had tweeted out prior that Adrian, before all of this, was on the Minnesota Mount Rushmore
Yeah.
of sports professional athletes.
Mhm.
And he is not there anymore. Like,
No.
he's really not. I know he's got some very vocal supporters, but I feel like those people are in the minority now. I think that is the minority.
And if you head over to ESPN, one of the writers on there for the ESPN 1500 wrote an open letter to Adrian Peterson. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out, do it, because I know it's the way a lot of us feel and a lot of us are thinking.
Mhm.
So if you do have that opportunity, go check it out.
Hey, a lot of people to this day still don't like Randy Moss for some of the stuff that Randy said. But hey, you can not like him. At least Randy came out and said what he thought.
Yeah,
Like,
I respect him for being who he is.
Yeah, and I
didn't like it, but I respect it.
I'm a huge Randy Moss fan. I wear his jersey all the time, and I didn't necessarily agree with everything he said, but that came from him. That was what he thought, and he was a very emotional guy, and he said what was on his mind. And Adrian could probably stand to moss it up a little bit and get out there and just be like, you know what? From now on, I ask my own questions out here. And
I'm going to take plays off. I'm going to not run routes all the time.
Exactly. Just say something, Adrian.
I mean, I hate to say it too, but you've already done enough damage at this point, and you haven't even gotten to come out and speak. I mean, is it really going to make it that much worse? Just say it, man.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be here, if you want to be a Dallas Cowboy, or you want to do, like, it's fine. We can all read
chance
between
that
the
by
lines.
the time this podcast hits, that maybe tomorrow, Adrian Peterson will come out and say, hey, the stuff that my agent said, it's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Because that kind of stuff seems to happen with us on the podcast.
Yeah. So let's cover ourselves here. We are recording this Monday the 23rd at 11:47 p.m. on Central Time. So if something should happen, you are not listening to a live show.
If Adrian Peterson came out and apologized for everything and told his view, then we're absolutely sorry about all this. Just imagine it never happened.
Yep.
I'm not. I still stand by what I say, but it's fine. It's Monday night, whatever. I just want it to end. You know, it's like when a girl breaks up with you and she won't tell you why. Just give me closure, damn it.
Can I ruin your night? Can I ruin everyone's night?
This
is not going to end. Freaking guys, this is going to go on through training camp, through preseason. When's the trade deadline, Adam? Week 6?
I have no idea.
Week 6 of the regular season, something like
Lord.
that. This is going to be, he's going to hold out. This is going to drag out and on and on and on. That's what's going to happen.
Just send him to Arizona, for God's sake. It's all.
What
whatever.
I don't understand is he fought tooth and nail to get the suspension overturned so that he could talk to the Vikings to come back because he's happy, or to go elsewhere because he wants to play in Texas. And now that he got that, he got what he wanted.
Well,
what is
that's
he?
Not exactly true.
Well, hold on, Adam. Let me finish. He kind of got what he wanted. He can talk with the team now. And what's he doing? He's not talking with the team.
That lawsuit that you're talking about was not placed in place by Adrian Peterson, his agents, or anyone like that. That was by the NFLPA.
Oh, okay.
So, although he now has the opportunity to do all that stuff, to meet up, to talk about how things have happened, and it's happened a couple times in the past already, that the Minnesota Vikings have met with Adrian Peterson. But apparently now that line of communication is closed and everything's going through Mr. Dogra.
Oh, that guy.
I got your Dogra right here. I just had to make chocolate milk because we've been ranting about this AP crap for 30 minutes.
You guys
are ridiculous.
Worked up over here. I shouldn't be doing that at midnight.
I'm excited though. We got Carlson riled up tonight, so that's we love it, man. And this is all opinion based. And like we said,
I don't get very many opportunities to call a millionaire celebrity a coward, so figure I might as well have at her. But let's close it up with some positive talk. Let's talk about the team needs at cornerback. And personally, I think that the only real need, because I like Captain Munnerlyn in the slot, I love Xavier Rhodes, over there on the side, but we need that other physical corner on the other side, and that's where I'd
Trey
love
Waynes.
to see the
Yeah.
that's where I'd love to see the Vikings try to draft Trey Waynes or Kevin Johnson or one of those kind of players in the draft.
Make Adrian play.
And who knows, maybe they'll be able to get some firepower and move back up and grab another top tier cornerback.
You know how
And
You've got a 6'3", 235-pound corner.
you know how sometimes Madden, when you play Madden, it does that really weird thing in preseason where it thinks like because Adrian is like a 98 overall ranking that for some reason it can shuffle him to like the corner or something.
yeah.
Like maybe Mike Zimmer could just do that to prove a point. Be like, no, Adrian, you're a 98 overall ranking superstar. Go play corner for us.
You know what they could do though? They could move Adrian Peterson to fullback.
Lead blocker for Matt
Yep.
Asiata.
Exactly.
Just make his life just living.
We just went
That would
evil
be
on this show.
So evil.
Just the first day of camp, Zimmer gets out there with a clipboard, and he's like, okay, McKinnon, you're starting. Asiata.
You get out there and
back up.
block for Jarek.
Adrian, you're on special teams with Farmer Fran. Go run laps.
Oh man.
Good reference. God, this is the best
Waterboy
podcast
reference.
ever.
Yeah.
So other than the cornerback situation here, we're looking at filling up with at least one more cornerback in the draft. I'm expecting a taller, 5'11" or better, more likely a 6 foot or 6'1" corner with a good leaping ability to help contend with the taller, quicker wide receivers that are in the division. And I think that once those cornerbacks are in place, the team will be able to look at the other needs, like linebacker or guard or other situations like that. Although it's going to be a real tough choice if Brandon Sheriff or another guy that is a top prospect at a position in need falls.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be so hard. I don't know if they've picked me yet because I think they announced it this week, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, but the radio station here, that draft party I always tell you, I got up there last year and I got to number 9 and I said the Vikings will select C.J. Mosley, and I freaking took Anthony Barr. I'm super glad they did, but I was pissed because I was like, what? Anthony Barr is not one of the top-rated linebackers, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, it's going to be based on who's taken 1 through
Absolutely.
10, but this is such a good problem to have because Sheriff, Parker, Waynes, hell, Mark Cooper might still be there. I don't know, but
Yeah, Landon Collins.
and Collins, oh my gosh, imagine him and Dirty Harry. Like, there's just so any player we get at 11 is going to be stud quality, and I think it all depends on. It's an obvious statement, but it's just going to be on who's available, who's already been taken. Because I'm not kidding. If we went wide receiver, we would still be good. I don't think the top 3 wide receivers will be gone by 11. I mean, corner could be it, linebacker. I mean, I think we'll look at linebacker later, but that's another show. I'm still sticking to my guns with the Mike Wallace acquisition. I vote we go corner, and I would love to see Trey Waynes molded just like Xavier Rhodes was, because he's essentially the same type of player. He's physical. He's good on the bump and run. I could see Mike Zimmer doing his magic again this year with him.
It'd be so cool to have a defense that isn't afraid to let their corners just go out and work against these wide receivers. Because there were times when poor little Josh Robinson or Captain Wonderland were just completely outsized and outmuscled.
Oh, watching the Bears game last year. Oh. Oof.
All right, so that's all I have for this week. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to add?
Thank you to everyone for listening to this crazy ass show tonight.
Yeah, I apologize for going off. I mean, I know it's a little bit heated, and this Adrian Peterson situation's bringing out a lot in all of us, but it's so frustrating for Vikings fans to try to make it through it. And I appreciate you guys going through this with us and helping us out on social media, like the Facebook page and at Purple People Pod on the Twitter. Remember to head over there and check us out. Drop us some lines. Other than that, stay classy, Minnesota.